There's a business you've been told is the closest thing in the world to free money. You buy a machine, you fill it with chips and soda, you bolt it to a wall in a building full of strangers, and then it just works. Around the clock, no staff, no rent on a storefront, taking dollar after dollar while you sleep. It is the poster child of passive income, the side hustle every guru on the internet will sell you a course on. And the strangest part is that the basic math actually checks out. A can of soda really does cost about 50 cents and really does sell for $1.50. The margin is real. So here's the question that should bother you. If a vending machine is such an easy, profitable, hands-off little money printer, why do roughly 80% of the people who start one quit within a year? The honest answer is that a vending machine isn't really selling snacks. The most profitable thing in this entire industry isn't the soda. It's the dream of the soda, and most of the time that dream is being sold to you. Start with the part that's true, because the lie only works because it's wrapped around a real number. Walk it through. An operator buys a can of cola in bulk at a wholesale club for around 50 cents. They load it into the machine and sell it for $1.50. That's $1 of gross profit on a 50-cent item, a markup of roughly 100%, and a gross margin around 50 cents on the dollar. Across a whole machine, snacks, drinks, the lot, the blended gross margin sits somewhere around 40 to 50%. Those are genuinely good numbers, better than a grocery store. And they are exactly what every pitch leads with, because they're easy to picture and impossible to argue with. 50 cents in, $1.50 out, all day, no employees. Of course it sounds like a money machine. But notice what that number is. It's the gross margin, the profit on the snack before the snack has to get there. It says nothing about who drove it to the machine, who paid for the spot on the wall, who covered the card fees, or what happens to the 40 bags of chips that nobody bought before they went stale. The 50% margin is the bait. The business is everything that happens after it. Every video that sells you this dream opens with a winner. The operator pulling $50,000 a month out of one truck. The guy with 57 machines clearing 30 grand on 6 hours a week. Those people are real, but they're the very top of a very steep pyramid, and the pitch puts them at the front so you don't look at the middle. So let's look at the middle. When one business publication actually surveyed vending operators, the average one didn't own 50 machines. They owned about 13. And those 13 machines didn't gross thousands each. They grossed around $309 a month each. A single machine in a decent spot typically pulls $150 to $400 a month in sales. And that's the top line before any costs. Strip out the product, the commission, the fuel, the repairs, and the take-home on one machine lands around $40 to $120 a month. So the average operator with their 13 machines is running a small, fiddly physical business for maybe $1,000 or $1,500 of actual profit a month. As one operator put it bluntly, $5,000 in revenue might only mean $2,000 in your pocket. That's not nothing. But it's a very long way from a money printer, and it's a number the dream never shows you. Here's the reframe that changes everything. The thing you're buying isn't a vending machine, it's a vending route. And a route is a logistics business, the same species as a delivery van or a milk round. Follow the dollar backwards. Before that can of cola earns its margin, somebody has to buy it in bulk, store it. The serious operators rent a warehouse and run a box truck, load it, drive to the machine, restock it, clear the jams, count the cash, and do it again every few days, because a good location empties fast. The industry's own rule of thumb is that 15 machines eat 15 to 20 hours of your week. That's the cost nobody puts in the pitch. Your own time, your own driving, your own back. And now the famous gross margin bleeds. Take $100 of sales. Around 50 goes straight back into product. A slice goes to the building owner as commission, more on that in a second. A couple of percent to the card processor, $10 a month per machine just to keep the card reader online, plus fuel, plus the chips that spoiled. One successful operator sums up his whole business in a number he calls the 50-30-20 rule. 50% to product, 20% to fees and gas and insurance, and 30%, at best, to him. And he said the quiet part out loud. As a solo operator, you are handcuffed to the business. That is not passive income. That is a job with a truck. Anyway, if the business is a route, then the one thing that decides whether it lives or dies is the same thing it decides for any shop. Location. The exact same machine with the exact same snacks at the exact same prices will mint money in one spot and starve in another 100 yards away. A machine in the break room of a factory with 300 workers and nowhere else to buy lunch is a captive audience. They feed it every day. The identical machine in a quiet office lobby next to a cafe might take $20 a week and slowly fill with food no one wants. This is why the surveys call bad location the #1 killer of vending businesses. Full stop. No product mix, no clever pricing, no app saves a machine nobody walks past. And here's the catch that eats the margin again. The good locations know they're good. The owner of that high-traffic building doesn't let you bolt a money machine to their wall for free. They charge a commission, a cut of every dollar the machine takes, typically 5 to 15%, and in prime spots, a hospital concourse or a busy transit hub, it can run 20 to 30. So the better the location, the more of your margin the landlord takes. You're renting foot traffic by the percent. The whole business compresses into one sentence. You don't make money from the machine, you make money from the spot, and the best spots are never free. If the hidden cost of this business is the driving, then the smartest money in vending has spent the last few years deleting the driving. This is the part the side hustle videos miss, and it's the part that actually matters. Until recently, an operator restocked on a guess, drive the whole route, top up every machine, hope you brought the right snacks. Today, the machines talk back. Over half of all vending machines worldwide now report their inventory remotely. They tell the operator exactly what sold and what didn't before anyone gets in the truck. Pair that with the shift to cashless. About 71% of vending transactions are now card or phone, not coins. That changed the math twice over. People spend more when they're not limited to the change in their pocket. The average cashless sale runs $2.24 against $1.78 in cash. And operators who switched have reported revenue jumping 30 to 40% per machine. But the bigger prize is the routing. When the machines tell you what they need, you only drive to the ones that need it. One large operator using this technology cut its routes by around 40%. The single biggest efficiency gain in modern vending wasn't a better snack or a fancier machine. It was driving less, which tells you, more clearly than any pitch, what the real cost of this business always was. And if you're enjoying watching a passive business turn out to be a logistics problem in disguise, that's the whole idea here. A different ordinary business taken apart every week. So if the average machine makes pocket money, the good locations cost you, and the real edge takes scale and software most beginners don't have, how is the internet still full of people getting rich from vending? Here's the uncomfortable answer. A lot of them aren't getting rich from the machines. They're getting rich from you. Around this genuinely thin, hands-on little business has grown an entire economy built on the dream of it. People who sell you the course on how to start. Locating services that, for a fee, promise guaranteed high-traffic spots. And a good number simply sell rights to locations that don't exist, backed by fake contracts and invented revenue reports. Sellers offering established routes with earnings that fall apart the moment you check them. The pattern is old enough that regulators have a name for it: business opportunity fraud. And the Trade Commission has prosecuted bogus vending deals for decades, schemes promising $60,000–$80,000 a year on a machine that delivers almost nothing. In one case, a single buyer lost $72,000 to a pizza vending opportunity, chasing the best locations and the huge earnings she'd been promised. None of this means honest operators don't exist. They do, and the good ones grind out a real living. It means the loudest voices in this niche have figured out the actual business model. The hard part isn't running a machine, it's filling it, finding the spot, and doing the driving. So the easy money moved one level up to selling shovels to everyone convinced there's gold in the snack aisle. So, is a vending machine a money machine? Honestly, it can be, but only the way a delivery route is. For the person who treats it like the logistics business it actually is, runs enough machines at enough density that the driving finally pays for itself, picks locations with cold discipline, and uses the technology to stop wasting trips. Run like that, by someone who isn't fooling themselves, it's a real, modest, grinding business. Run as the fantasy sold to most people. Buy a box, bolt it up, collect cash forever. It's the $40 a month machine slowly filling with stale chips and the $72,000 lesson. But step back, and the real takeaway isn't about snacks at all. It's a tell you can use everywhere. When a business is sold to you mostly on how passive it is, how little you'll have to do, that's usually the sign the work hasn't disappeared. It's just been quietly moved onto you, and the seller has found a way to get paid before the work even starts. The margin in vending was never really in the machine. It was in the driving nobody wanted to mention. And once you learn to ask where the work went, you start to see it hiding inside every easy money pitch you'll ever hear. We're going to keep taking these apart, one boring machine at a time. The next one's already taken your dollar.